Today's heading is Kepler's laws of planetary motion. Planetary laws of planetary motion. Planetary motion. This is the heading. Kepler's laws of planetary motion is the heading. Okay. Kepler was a scientist. He gave three laws related to astrology or astronomy. Three laws. Law number one is called law of orbits. Law of orbits. First law is called law of orbits. Write down. It states that the planets revolve. It states that the planets revolve. It states that the planets revolve around the sun. Revolves around the sun in elliptical orbit. In elliptical, ELLIPTICAL, elliptical orbit. Planets revolve around the sun in elliptical orbit. That is law number one. Law number two, write down law of areas. Law of areas. Law of areas. Write down. It states that the line joining the planets to the sun, the line joining the planets to the sun, sweeps out, SWEEPS, sweeps out equal area in equal time.
Pardon.
Equal area, line joining from the planets to the sun. Line joining the planets to the sun sweeps out equal area in equal time. Sweeps out equal area in equal time. That is law number two. Law number three. Law of periods. Third law. Third law is the important one. Law of periods. Right? It states that the period of revolution. Of a planet, around the sun is directly proportional to 3 by 2 power 3 by 2 power 3 and half power 3 by 2 power of the mean distance 3 by 2 power of the mean distance between the planet and the sun. Mean distance between the planet and the sun. Therefore, write P is proportional to R to the power of 3 by 2, or we can write P square is proportional to R cube. When you square both the sides, 2 will go, P square is proportional to R cube. This is a law. You can take the third law, P square proportional to R cube. What is R cube? R is the mean distance between the planet and the sun. R is the mean distance between the planet and the sun. Okay? Are you done?
Sir. Yes, sir.
This law, we can read this law. So the square of the time period, that is period of revolution, the square of period of revolution of a planet is directly proportional to the cube power, to the cube of the mean distance between the planet and the sun. Directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance between the sun and the planet. You can take it this way. In short, you remember T square proportional to R cube. Just remember that. T square is directly proportional to R cube. Okay? Understood?
Yes, sir.
There are three laws. First law says that what is the shape of the orbit, it talks about that. Second law says the line joining the planets to the sun splits of equal area at equal time. That is the reason why between the planets there is no collision. Each planet have different defined orbits. And the third law says period of revolution around the sun is directly proportional to R to the power of 3/2. That is, the longer the distance of the planet from the sun, shorter will be the period of revolution. That means the duration of a year will be, longer the distance, the duration of the year will be longer. If the planet is closer to the sun, the duration of year will be shorter. Can you guess where the time of for year will be the shortest in our solar system?
Mercury.
Which planet? Mercury. Mercury is the, closest from the sun. That's why the duration of the year will be, the least. I think, I don't remember exactly in geography book or in some Google and all, you can search how many days makes a year there. I am sure it won't be 365 days at Earth. It will be much shorter. I think maybe 67 days or something days makes a year. I'm not very sure. Okay, I'm not confirming it, but the idea is the planet Mercury will have the shortest duration of the year. And which planet will have the longest duration? Which planet? Which is the farthest from the sun? Which one? Huh? Which planet is the farthest? Do you know that? Pluto. Okay. So they have the duration with the longest. Okay. That is Kepler's third law of motion is important. That is T square is proportional to R cube, or we can let T square equal to K R cube. This is important, this one. K is constant of proportionality. K is any constant of proportionality. Okay. Now give the heading derivation of next heading derivation of Newton's law of gravitation. Derivation of Newton's law of gravitation from Kepler's law. Derivation of Newton's law of gravitation from Kepler's law. Kepler was the scientist who helped Newton to, make the gravitational law of gravitation. To give the law of gravitation, Newton took help of Kepler's law of planetary motion. Kepler's contribution is there in Newton's law of gravitation. That's why we are going to derive Newton's law of gravitation from the Kepler's law. How we can derive? For that, we will be drawing a diagram here like this. This is sun of the mass m, and here is a planet revolving here. Planet. There is a planet. There is a maybe any planet revolving around it. The distance between them is r. Sun is at the center. planet is over here, the distance is r. Total distance is r here. Then for the planet is revolving in almost a circular orbit. So we know the centripetal force. F is equal to, what is the formula of centripetal force? mv square by r. So we start with that formula, right? F is equal to mv square by r. We write mv value at omega, right? Omega square r in terms of omega. Continue further, we can write at m, omega value I'll put here 2 pi by t whole square into r. You can write f is equal to m into 4 pi square by t square into r. Okay, now next line we write like this, f is equal to 4 pi square here, m over here, r over here, t square is equal to kr cube. From, we can write here from Kepler's law, we have t square is equal to kr cube. T square is equal to kr cube. So I am writing that. This r and this will go. Your answer will now become 4 pi square by k into m by r square. This is the formula we are getting. In this formula, we check 4 pi square is constant, k is also constant. That is, f is directly proportional to mass, and f is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Right? Therefore, f is directly proportional to mass, and f is inversely proportional to r square. So, law of gravitation always takes place between the two bodies. That means you have to consider mass of both the bodies. And f is directly proportional to the mass of both the bodies. There are two bodies involved. Therefore, we write like this. Therefore, f is proportional to m1 into both the masses, and f is inversely proportional to r square. This is what Newton's law of gravitation. That hence Newton's law of gravitation is derived. This helps Newton to give the law of gravitation. This one, this way, this method. Please copy. Your question may come in, I sit and derive Newton's law of gravitation from the Kepler's law of planetary motion, or from Kepler's law obtain Newton's law of gravitation. We'll do this. Here we are using Kepler's law, t square proportional to kr cube. Here we are using it, t square value kr cube. Please check if anything you want to clarify, please ask me. I will clarify once again. Anything which you have not understood here, please ask me for the clarification. I will. Yes, and if it is all clear, then tell me that also.
So clear.
Okay, thank you. Anybody, those who have doubts, you can ask me, then I'll clarify. Any points which have not understood, I ask you. This is the formula centripetal force mv squared by r, but we are following another formula in terms of omega. In terms of omega, the formula becomes m omega squared r. Why we want omega form? Because omega is formula we can have 2 pi by time period, and here we can use the time period rule from Kepler's law. Time period formula. What is it? T square is directly proportional to r cube, or t square is equal to k r cube. So that is why we are changing in time period. And t square value I put here k r cube, and your formula becomes like this. That is, f is proportional to mass, and f is inversely proportional to r square. R is the distance. And since gravitation takes place between two masses, so both the masses will come into play or come into consideration here. That's why he found that f is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance, which is Newton's law of gravitation. This is done. Finish, boys? Okay?
Okay, sir.
Now I will start new topic. Give the heading. Intensity of gravitational field. Intensity. Give the heading intensity of gravitational field. Intensity of gravitational field. This is denoted by the symbol I. Intensity denoted by the symbol I. Write down the definition of this. First you write definition, or you can write down the formula first, after that we will derive. Right? I is equal to F by M. This is the formula. I equal to F divided by M. Now write down the definition. It is the force of gravitation. It is the force of gravitation on a unit mass. It is the force of gravitation on a unit mass at a point. It is the force of gravitation on a unit mass or per unit mass at a point in a gravitational field. Intensity of gravitation we find at a point. At
Can you
any
repeat?
point the force of it is the force of gravitation on a unit mass. It is the force of gravitation on a unit mass at a point in a gravitational field. Write on that. I equal to F by M. Okay? All right.
Yes, sir.
Then what will be the unit of I? Write on its SI unit is Newton per kg, N per kg, Newton per kg, or meter per second square, meter per second square. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. So mass cancel, we get A. That is intensity is same as acceleration unit wise. Okay, that is meter per second square. Let us proceed little further. If any point is situated on the surface of the earth, for the earth we are checking for the earth. Formula F I write as Gmm by R square into M. This M and this M will go. We will get I equal to Gm by R square. Right? Gm by R square is equal to G. You know the formula, small g is equal to Gm by R square. We know this formula. Small g means acceleration due to gravity is equal to Gm by R square. That means intensity of gravitational field is numerically equal to the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of the earth. The intensity of gravitational field at a point on Earth's surface is numerically equal to acceleration due to gravity. I equal to G. Please remember this. We may get short answer that question. Which of the following relation is true and all. They will ask that type of question. So I equal to small g. Intensity of gravitation is same as acceleration due to gravity for the surface of, this is only applicable for the surface of the earth. Okay, now give next heading. Next heading you give. Next heading is gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential energy. This is denoted by U. Gravitational potential energy denoted by U. Capital U. Any kind of energy is measured by its work done capacity. Work done. So for that we will draw a diagram. Here, like this. Suppose we are having this Earth center is here. This is radius. we are having a point, maybe the point is here or maybe the point anywhere we are having. We are supposing a point anywhere A. Okay. Now this I will be writing S external to the point B. From A to B we are moving the body. Okay. Now write down. Or from the point A, we are moving. Point A is on the surface of the Earth. From here, we are moving it to the point B. Okay. Now this distance I'll take as from here to here. The distance is small r. Total distance is r to the point B. Write down gravitational potential energy is measured by. Gravitational potential energy is measured by the amount of work done by an external force F EXT, you can write in a bracket, by an external force F EXT, F external to displace a body from the center of the earth against gravity, against force of gravity you write, or just write against gravity. Therefore write down U is equal to work done, write down work done by force, right? Work done by FEXT, work done by force external. Force external will have same value as the force of gravitation, but we like E XT into the displacement is our work formula. We got F into R, force into the displacement. But this force is acting away from the against the attractive force of attraction. This will be equal to minus GMM by R square into R. R cancel, you get the answer minus GMM by small r. This is the formula of U. This is the formula. Why minus sign? You understood about minus sign? Because this force we are giving this way, whereas gravitation force is like this towards the center, this way. The two forces are equal but opposite in direction. That's why H external value we are writing with a minus sign. In the book, we have given an integration method of deriving these formulas. I am not following that because integration part you may not understand now. So I am avoiding calculus. Without calculus, also it can be done. So I am using that method. Analytical method I am using. So this is the formula of potential energy or gravitational potential energy at a point. The point can be anywhere on the surface of the earth or anywhere. If it is on the surface of the earth, in small r can be written as capital R. This R will be capital R. So this is the formula of gravitational potential energy, minus Gmn by R. I read this one. G is what? Universal gravitational constant. What is capital L here? Tell me, what is capital L? What is one of you? What is capital M representing?
Force. Mass of force.
Mass of the earth. And small m is what? What is the small m?
Mass of the particle.
Body.
Mass of the body, yes. Mass of the body, which is whose energy we are finding? Mass of the body. And small r, what is the small r? Tell me, what is the small r? Small r is the distance of the point where the body is kept or where the body is lying. Body from here is taken to this height and at rest. This distance is r. If the body lies here only, this distance we will take. That will be equal to capital R, radius. but it will differ from planet to planet. This is applicable for Earth because I'm taking mass of the Earth. But if you are in Jupiter, you take the mass of the Jupiter, and small m is the mass of that body, and the small r will be the distance of the point from the center of that planet, maybe Jupiter, maybe Mars, whatever. From there we have to take. This one we can generalize for the other planets also. So this is the formula of gravitational potential energy. Boys, normally just see in lower class 10 and all, you used to learn this way. If a body is on the surface of the Earth, what is the potential energy value? Body, suppose this is the surface of the Earth, and from here we are taking a body to some height here, h. This is A, this is B. So what formula we used to apply? What is the formula of potential energy at the point A? We used to take it 0 because we used to consider this as origin. And what is the formula of potential energy at the point B? We used to write mgh, small mgh. But actually the energy is not 0. Energy of a body cannot be 0. When it has mass, it will have energy. So when a body is lying here on the surface of the Earth, with respect to the center of the Earth, with respect to the center, it is at some distance, no? The distance may be equal to r, so it has potential energy, because all the bodies are on the surface of the Earth only, that's why initial value of energy is all having same. That's why we used to consider that as origin, and we used to take that value as 0. But as a matter of fact, it is not 0, because we are standing on the surface of the Earth, we are at some height or some distance from the center of the Earth. So we are also having energy. I might guess you think that the potential energy is 0. Actually, it is not 0. But since we are comparing the energy of one body with respect to the other body, both the bodies are lying on the surface of the Earth. Both are having same amount of energy. Initial energy is same on both the bodies. That's why we used to consider that as origin, and we should take this as 0. But actually, as a matter of fact, energy is there. And how much energy will be there on the surface of the Earth? Same formula, minus G M by capital R we can write here. Capital R. Small r will become capital R. But if the body is at some height, that time this will be R will be, total distance will be, small r value will come here, R plus H, this plus this. R plus H. In this case, for this distance will be R plus H. Then here I have to write R plus H. Minus G M by R plus H I am supposed to write here in this case. If the body is at some height. Done? Have you understood, boys? Tell me.
So,
Yes.
to find the energy at B, so we have to write V is equals to R plus H.
So find the energy, gravitational potential energy at a point which is at some height from the surface of the Earth. Suppose the point B is at some height H from the surface of the Earth, then the small r value will become R plus H. Small r value become R plus H. And if a body lies exactly on the surface of the Earth, then we write R is equal to, small r is equal to capital R. If the body lies here only, then small r is equal to capital R.
Okay, sir.
Understood?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Now, give one heading now. Give another heading, right? Expression. Give the heading now. Expression for the maximum height. Expression for the maximum height. Expression for the maximum height reached by a projectile. Expression for the maximum height reached by a projectile. Reached by a projectile. Okay, have you given heading? Have you given this heading?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I forgot to do one thing on there. Can I do it? If you have some space anywhere, just write in short, maybe one line. One line will do. Do you have a space above this expression? What I have given, what I am going to do? Do you have some space there? One line, just write down. I forgot to do that. Then after I will do this one, what I gave you. Give the heading gravitational potential. Gravitational potential. Gravitational potential. Have you given the heading? Denoted by V. Gravitational potential denoted by V. Write on formula V. Write formula V is U by M. That is gravitational potential energy per unit mass of the body. Gravitational potential energy per unit mass of a body at a point is called gravitational potential, U by M. And U by M value will come. Gravitational potential energy per unit mass at a point. Per unit mass at a point is called gravitational potential. Done?
Can you repeat it?
U by M, what is U? U is what? Gravitational potential energy, right on. The gravitational potential energy per unit mass. The gravitational potential energy per unit mass at a point is called gravitational potential. You can add formula V is equal to U by M, and U value I put this much, entire value of U, the answer will become here minus Gm by R. Write down this formula. V is equal to minus Gm by R. Small m and small n cancel, you get the answer minus Gm by R. This is the formula of gravitational potential at a point. Minus Gm by R. Okay. You can write just write below. Here negative sign indicates. That the body is bound, B-O-U-N-D, the body is bound to the earth. The body is attracted towards us, towards the center of the earth. Everything is attracted towards the center of the earth. That is the meaning of minus sign. The body is attracted or bound to the earth. The body will return back to the earth. That is the meaning of this. Okay? So, whatever heading you gave it, the body is bound to the earth. Here negative sign indicates that the body is bound, B-O-U-N-D, bound to the earth. Okay? So, whatever expression you gave today, no, tomorrow I'll do that one. I'll derive that expression tomorrow. And tomorrow only we'll finish the theory part. And we'll do some problems. The chapter will be over. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.